Assign to stop playing and come and steal me. I'm right here. Hey everyone, it's Sharana from Payroll Waits, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Netflix series Lupin Part 1, which is currently streaming on the Netflix platform. So for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome, hello, so glad you came, I hope you stay. I tell you what I enjoyed about the series, what I didn't like about the series, and is it worth your time binging or not on Netflix? So I'm gonna let you guys know before I even get into this review that my French is not the best, okay? So please forgive me, don't charge it to my heart, charge it to my mind, charge it to my vocabulary. Actually blame my mother, okay? Because in high school, my freshman year, I started taking French, and then my mom was like, girl, stop playing and go and take Spanish. Like, what are you doing? And so she made me take Spanish instead. And so here we are today. So blame my mama. And daddy, if you watching, don't be snitching, okay? So Lupin stars Omar Sy, and it centers around, it's a series that is inspired by the adventures of Arsène Lupin. I'm not saying that right, I know I'm not. Gentleman thief Arsène Diop sets out to avenge his father for injustice inflicted by a raggedy, wealthy family. They didn't say raggedy in the synopsis, but I just wanted to add that they are raggedy, and once you see how all of the pieces fall into place, when you get to know the backstory as to how Arsène's father was done so dirty, you will feel the same way. So going into what I enjoyed about this series, I will have to say that Omar Sy, he is the best part of this series, and I think he does such a fantastic job as Arsène, who is this like master thief, who goes on all of these crazy adventures as he's trying to ultimately, you know, clear his father's name for a crime that he might have or he might have not committed. I don't know, because Netflix only gave us part 1 and I need the other episodes now. But I think that Omar is very charming, charismatic on the screen. You want to watch him. You want to see his character get away with these crazy like scenarios that he finds himself in, these crazy disguises that he has as he's trying to uncover all of his plans throughout the course of the series. But I just think that he does such a fantastic job. And can I just say, to have a show in 2021 where you have this big, beautiful, dark, chocolate, melanin black man as the lead character who is playing all of these different disguises. Some people he gives you like a Sherlock Holmes aspect to it. I know some people may compare it to Bond, but for me it's more of a Sherlock Holmes type of vibe, just kind of revamped for modern times. I just think he's absolutely fantastic in it, and you can truly tell that he's having such a great time. Now also too, there are these different disguises that he has, and I'll get into my cons, because even though I was still here for it, I was like, sir, you look exactly the same, but it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and play with it since I'm enjoying the story. But I think that they find a way to make each episode just make it feel new. You're interested in the story as you get to uncover all of these different pieces as the episodes go along in part 1. Now, what I will also say is they do a very, very great job of balancing the past with the present. So there are flashbacks that happen throughout the course of the series that really help you understand what Arsène's motivations are, what has happened to him and his father when they were younger to find himself in this predicament on this path set to avenge his father's name. And I think they do a really great job of helping you understand who the key players are, helping you understand what their sins were in the past, to help you understand why we have to root against them in the present. You know, normally it could take you out of it, as you know, you're kind of watching what's happening in the present and they go back into the past. But I think that it works for the most part in Lupin. Now also too, what I will say is I do enjoy, there's like a side story with one of the detectives who is really trying to uncover who is this person who is carrying out all of these, I guess, do you want to say robberies? Let's just say elaborate plans, because we're not gonna pin all of that on the sign right now because he's just trying to avenge his daddy. There's an interesting character who I would love to get to know a little bit more about. And I'll talk about this in the cons as well, but I do find that part of it kind of this cat and mouse chase and really having a worthy opponent, because I think that's what truly works in stories like this, is when you have this person who is a good person but does bad things, but you love to see the cat and mouse, that there is someone who can be just as smart as him, who is just a couple of steps behind each plan that Hassan carries out throughout the course of the show. Now, even though there are a lot of things that I did ultimately enjoy about Lupin, the only issues that I do have with it is, first, why is it only 5 episodes? I was just like, Netflix. Now, I understand y'all got a hit on your hands, but 5 episodes, y'all? I literally stopped. I was like calling my friends. I said, hey, hold up. How many screeners did you have on your account? Because I think that they need to run me my other 5. They were like, Sharonda, it's only 5 episodes. And I said, what? When you finally hit this big cliffhanger, it goes off and there's just no more episodes to watch. I felt like this definitely could have been longer, personally, because I think that they don't necessarily get to delve in a lot of what's happening in present day. And maybe that was their intention, to really set up what is happening in the past to really help show his motivations for what he's doing present day. But also too, the police officers in this show, minus the one detective, they are terrible. I'm just like, yo, like, what type of training did you receive? Because my man over here is getting the job done and no one wants to listen to him. And so I just think that when you have these larger than life characters like Lupin, they have to have a equal adversary that almost makes the character feel like, hey, I need to tighten up because there's a possibility that they're smart enough to catch me. And with the current batch of detectives who are on this case, it just never made it feel believable to me. And speaking of believable, even though Hassan is like this master of disguise, I was just like, nah, yeah. While I do appreciate that as a black man, he can get away with all of these things, and they do bring up race in kind of one of the schemes that he has in one of the episodes, but they never really mention it again. But I was just like, Hassan, there was only probably one and a half, I might give you 2 disguises that he had throughout the course of the season, where I was like, okay, you know what? I can believe that they believe that you were a different person. But for the other ones, and when you watch it, you'll be like, sis, like, seriously, I'm totally here with you. I was just like, I felt like the schemes could have been a little bit more elaborate. The disguises could have been more elaborate to really make you believe that he can go into all of these different places, interact with some of the same people, and still be undetected. But overall, for me, it is the mystery behind Hassan's background, the mystery of the key players that are involved in Hassan's quest for revenge, that really makes the show watchable. It's so bingeable. I just wanted to keep clicking each episode. Like, I need to find out what is going to happen. Is Hassan going to be successful, or is he going to get caught? Is his spot, they say your spot get blown up. I just want to know, are they going to figure out who he is? And I think that that's where the show, it does such a great job in getting this audience invested, wanting you to keep watching episode after episode after episode. Now, there is one little piece that I am going to bring up, and I feel like I have to. I wanted to let this slide because this really goes into what I talk about when we talk about representation, especially when we have shows that star POC leads, and then for some reason they feel as though because they're POC, I don't know what the logic is behind it, that they always have to fall in love with someone who is Caucasian. That, it didn't bother, it doesn't ruin the show for me, but it's something that I do want to continue to point out, that that's not something that necessarily needs to happen on every single television series. But it still worked for me. I don't want to give any shade or disrespect to the actors involved or the people who decided to cast for the show. But it's just something that I needed to point out. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry, y'all. I said I wasn't going to be petty, but I needed to point it out because I really want to see these kind of stereotypes or cliches in shows and film. I really want to see it stop, or really just to see a little bit more, a different type of diversity, okay? So, what I would tell you guys to do with you and your time for Lupin, look, stop what you're doing right now. Go watch this series. Come back in the comment section so you can give me thanks. Sharonda, it was so good. Thank you so much for telling me to watch this, because that's how confident I am that you're going to enjoy Lupin, which is currently streaming part 1 on Netflix. So those are my thoughts on the series. As always, my name is Sharonda from Payroll Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000, and until I see you again, bye.